A powerful jet engine assisted to such achievement but did not solve all the problems. Increase of speed and phenomena related to that demanded radical reassessment of the flight aerodynamics and urged the scientists to resolve a number of complex tasks. Increase of the aircraft speed increases the air drag. The air, like a sluggish mass, would not let the aircraft through. One of the ways of decreasing the air drag is the application of the high-speed profiles and the swept wing form. Developments of the German scientists laid the basis for such works in both the Soviet Union and abroad. The Germans dealt with the swept wing already during the war. In the Soviet Union, such wing appeared first time in 1947 on La-160 prototype fighter. Its sweep angle reached 35 degrees. But the swept wing has not only positive features. The airflow at such a wing is both lateral and longitudinal. This results in a shock stall in the end of the wing, which diminishes the longitudinal stability of the aircraft. An innovation, the boundary layer fans, was used on La-160. They were installed on the upper surface of the wing to keep the air from flowing along the wing. Aerodynamic tests showed that this innovation was very efficient. Subsequently, aerodynamic fences were applied on many types of Soviet jet aircraft. Boundary layer fences were installed on the new Mikoyan I-310 fighter. On December 30, 1947, test pilot Viktor Yuganov took it into the air for the first time. Tests showed that the aircraft possessed outstanding flight characteristics. It reached the speed of 1,050 kilometers per hour and had a powerful armament, 137mm and 223mm cannons. The cannons were mounted on a special pod and could easily be lowered with a hoist for servicing and recharge. The fighter had an ejection seat. Air brakes were installed in the rear part of the fuselage to enhance maneuverability. In 1948, the aircraft was put in service as MiG-15. Lavochkin 15, appearing a bit later, became MiG-15's competitor. Both aircraft were surprisingly alike. There you see La-15, and this is the Mikoyan fighter. La-15's characteristics were inferior to MiG. It had less powerful armament, and the narrow wheel track made the takeoff and landing at a heavy side wind more complicated. That's why MiG-15 became the mass serial-produced fighter. Starting from the 1950s, MiG-15 was substituted by MiG-15 bis. This modification got a new VK1 engine with a thrust increased up to 2,700 kilograms designed by Vladimir Klimov. The space of air brakes was enlarged. All this allowed to improve the flight characteristics of the aircraft. Production of the UTI MiG-15 trainer started the same year. This two-seater dual-control aircraft became very popular among trainees and instructors. The flight crews tenderly called this aircraft a granny or a mummy. MiG-15 gained combat success in Korea. In 1950, when a military conflict ran high on the Korea Peninsula, the USSR and China came to help the northern communist Korea. Soviet aircraft units equipped with MiG-15 were covertly sent to Korea. The United States and their allies acted on the side of the southern Korea. The US aircraft group was huge both in terms of quantity and types of aircraft. Appearance of the Soviet jet fighters was an unpleasant surprise for the Americans. Right from the start, the Soviet MiGs demonstrated significant superiority not only over the piston engine Mustangs, but over the Shooting Star and Thunderjet fighters. The only worthy competitor to MiG-15 in Korea was F-86 Sabre. The American aircraft was heavier than MiG and inferior in the rate of climb, ceiling, and armament, but was superior in horizontal maneuverability. More efficient air brakes and slaps made this aircraft more superior in the air combat. F-86 was significantly superior than MiG in terms of onboard equipment. Take just the aiming device with the ranging radar. Besides, the Sabre pilots flew in special garments, enabling them to overcome the G-factor in the air combat. However, the MiG-15 appearance in Korea significantly changed the balance of forces. American attack aircraft and bombers took no more risks flying without the F-86 cover-up. The most memorable was the air battle of October 23, 1951, which the Americans called the Black Tuesday. 10 American B-29 bombers were shot down by MiGs in that battle. Of course, Americans wanted to get hold of MiG-15 to find out the reason of its success. Similar hunt for the Sabres was performed by the Soviet side. In October 1951, Colonel Pepelyaev shot down F-86, which made an urgent landing on the North Korean territory. Soon the damaged aircraft was brought to the Soviet Union. Detailed research of the American fighter allowed to introduce some technical solutions to the Soviet aircraft construction. MiG-15 also got into the hands of the Americans. 3 months after the war, a North Korean pilot defected to South Korea on the Soviet aircraft. The aircraft underwent the most detailed examination in the United States. However, the Americans found no technical innovations applicable to their aviation. According to official data, the Soviet pilots shot down over 1,000 enemy aircraft during the fights in North Korea, while the Soviet Air Force lost only 335 aircraft. MiG-15 virtually conquered the right to be called the world's best fighter of the beginning of the 50s. It became one of the symbols of the Soviet aviation. Within 10 years, USSR produced over 13,000 MiG-15 of different modifications, and with the account of the licensed manufacture in Poland and Czechoslovakia, the amount of this aircraft exceeded 15,000. No other fighter in the world had such a circulation. The MiG-15 success enabled the Mikoyan Design Bureau to obtain from the leadership of the country a kind of a carte blanche for the further improvement of this aircraft. In result, the military received the MiG-17 fighter with the wing sweep of up to 45 degrees. In the end of 1952, production of the new modification of this aircraft, MiG-17F, was started. Its engine was equipped with the afterburner chamber, a unit allowing to increase the thrust. Within the general tendency of the speed increase in aviation, the fighters were the first to approach the speed of sound. The jet engine allowed to come very close to it, but so far it was not possible to pass it over. The drag increased drastically at such speed. There were even